Okay,
Here's the
I'm
shark
gonna
when she
call
was happy
finance
before they
to
went
order
out.
at 6:10 p.m. Thursday, November 4th. Any public participation?
Good. Public participation now?
For finance.
For finance.
Oh, for finance, okay. I'm
Members present.
sorry. Paying attention.
Members present are Kevin Myers, James Mee, and myself, Chair. Bruce Truca is absent. Okay, Joyce, we'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay. As I referred, we need to appropriate from unappropriated general funds in Program 1, Security of Persons and Property, under the Police Department, $5,150 to materials and supplies, and $2,600 to capital outlay. The appropriation to materials and supplies consists of a $150 donation to the LEAP program, which is a counseling program in the police department, and $5,000 for gas and oil to cover the rest of the year. The $2,600 to capital outlay is from donations to the K-9 unit. Then we need to appropriate from unappropriated sewage disposal funds in sewers and drains, $1,600 to materials and supplies. This is also for gas and oil expense for the rest of the year. And then in solid waste, we need to appropriate from unappropriated funds in the solid waste department, $4,000 to materials and supplies, and that's for gas and oil for the rest of the year.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Joyce? If not, I need a motion as an emergency.
I'd like to make a motion as an emergency. Second.
If there is no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. I believe that is all I have for finance as of right now. We have it opened already for our annual budget, which will be updated.
I just hope I find time to do
And then we're going to
it.
have our first meeting on the annual budget appropriations. If nobody else has anything, I will adjourn finance at 6:13 p.m. And I will call plating to order
He's back.
at 6:13 p.m. Members present, Doug Fote, James Mee, myself, Chair. Bruce Truca is absent. We have the ordinance number 40-2021, amending and supplementing Bucyrus codified ordinance. I'm sorry. Is there any public participation for plating? Before I proceed. Plating.
That's not the annexation. What was the annexation?
Health and safety.
Oh, I knew it was two. Okay, well, I'll speak now. Okay, Dan Wireball, 1092 North Avenue. I'm glad to see that we're annexing some property to Bucyrus that should be. And some of you guys know, I've been after this for years. But I would like to see from Mr. Werner's property, Mrs. Werner's property, to just continue everything from there to the 30 bypass should be in the city limits. And hopefully when I get next year, maybe we can work on that, Mr. Werner, and see what we can do on that, because I sat down and just did some quick math, just kind of, and I think we're losing about $500,000 a year in tax revenue from the businesses that are not in the city. When you go out on the east side, there's a bunch of them, and they're always saying, yeah, we want to, but they don't. So welcome to the city when all this gets done, and let's just keep moving forward. So, all right, that's all I got.
And you mean the 30 bypassed east?
No, he's talking
East.
both, east and west.
West.
No, east. No, east. I mean, your
West
house,
is,
you know,
Your house.
from my house east.
your house, you
East.
got a couple,
Yeah.
you got a couple businesses
Yeah,
there.
I got you.
That are in the city, even
Right.
though.
Oh, the line out there is funny.
Yeah. And then when you
It's
get
always
out,
funny.
when you get out on the east side, it's
Yeah,
even worse.
I understand.
It's like in and out. It's like they just went around these businesses and that's not really
I understand what you're
like,
saying.
because, you know.
Dan's right, it's been an ongoing thing for a while, we've talked about it since I've been
Gotcha.
sitting up here.
Well,
back when I was
take
growing.
this for instance, just this year, everyone from Tipton subdivision was up here complaining about their sewers backing up. And I'm like, and nothing, you know, I'm sorry that that happened, mine did that, whatever, a year or so ago. But, it's a terrible thing, I know, I've been through it. But they also, you're not in the city, you know, you're using our stuff, you know, and you weren't paying extra for the water, now you're not even paying extra for the water. You know, we did away with that so that we could sell more water, which I was kind of against, but maybe it was a good idea. You know, I'll say if I was wrong, but. So, you know, we've given them a break on the water, so I think we could just go out there and talk them into, you know, if we would come up with some type of letter, and if you look at what they're paying for, well, and they may be paying now for this ambulance, because they're in Whetstone Township, so they're gonna have that, there was another Whetstone tax. If you take those taxes off, they're probably, you know, they're probably breaking even, you know, and then they'll be able to have full city services and be part of the city. It grows our city, all those people, be more people in our city, more tax revenues. So that's all I got to say.
I agree with it,
Thank you, Dan.
something we need to do.
Okay. All right. We have one legislation in front of us. It's amending ordinance number 40-2021. Amending and supplementing Bucyrus codified ordinance 1151.05 of chapter 1151 nonconformities of Title VII zoning administration and enforcement of Part 11 planning and zoning code of the codified ordinances of the city of Bucyrus, Ohio. As you see, there's where in the bold print is the changes. Either one of you have any questions? Jim?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So with that, I can entertain a motion to accept this ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Huber,
Yes.
it was my understanding that that has to be set to a public hearing.
Right, we're just getting this,
Okay, so it can be posted and then set the public hearing date?
right.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we need to set a date for this to,
It's gotta be 30 days, right?
30 days after it's posted.
Right.
so Monday we will have time for it to get posted. Would that be plenty of time? I'm asking.
Can we say Tuesday, just so I have
That,
enough time?
that's,
My question is that gonna, because a lot of the holidays are falling right around now, do those affect the 30 days, the holidays or anything?
It's 30 calendar days.
Okay, I'm
It's
just making sure.
In order to have that public hearing on both the 815/825, the 760 and the 610 zoning issue and this, so we can have one public hearing for both zoning issues, which the law director still needs to do the legislation on that other thing.
so you need time.
Another 7 days in addition to whatever. Yeah, so to do that, all I have to do is repeal what we had done, and then the committee needs to then bring forth that new zoning legislation on all of those 815, 825 forward to post that new appropriate legislation, including 825, so that it is accurately reflecting, so that we don't have any questions, which is wonderful. And then,
So if you need 7 days, we might as well almost wait till our regular committee meeting on the 18th to set the date.
deal.
Any objections?
18th of,
That's when we would bring it back. He's gonna need 7 days, that's gonna be the 11th, and nobody's gonna be here. And our next committee meeting is the 16th. And then we have, I'm sorry, council meeting is the 16th, and then the 18th will be the committee meeting. So we can refer it there and set the date. And then all the paperwork would be ready, so it could be posted the next day.
Right.
So we can tentatively look at,
30 days from the 19th?
tentatively, yes, so that would put it to the week of December 6th.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I have a member of the audience that has a question.
that's fine.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so
You
these,
need good.
You- Up there and name and address.
yes, sir. Forgot.
That's okay.
Jim Richardson, 316 River Street, Bucyrus, Ohio. Now, I have a question as far as you're going to do this public hearing. Will that be on the City of Bucyrus website? Will that be posted on that calendar?
That's what we're working on.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I forgot to bring my notepad. I was going to make notes. And I think this is where a lot of the confusion was coming up. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so what do I have to do? Come up here and check in a month, or can I look at it online? Is it-
We're having our meeting on the 18th to get the legislation presented, that we get it into the legislation, so we make the meeting, public hearing.
So when my friends ask me, I can tell them to go where to find out for sure.
We will post it on the 19th.
It will be in the newspaper.
It'll be in the newspaper.
Public hearing's gotta be in the newspaper.
Right, there's a lot of people who don't get the paper. They're wanting this all to go over to the news stuff and online and what have you. Just wanting to know if it was going to be online.
Plus, it will also be posted here, the post office. I'm saying, this is where we post it for public places, courthouse and the library. So it'll be posted, it has to be posted that way for 30 days.
Okay.
And we will do our best to get it on the website.
I would recommend that they check the news page of the website and the zoning page of the website. Those two would be specific for this event, so
Okay.
Great, I can
I
tell
would
people
check there.
that.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
I was saying, the last time it was on the calendar, but you were saying on the 6th, you're looking more closer to the 20th, because 30 days,
Right.
the 19th is a weekend. So you're looking more at the 20th, the 30 days after the 19th.
We have meetings on the 21st and 23rd.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, if we post it, if we decided on the 18th, the 10th is 30 days, 10th of December. So we could do it the week of the 12th, somewhere in that week. That would give more than 30 days public. 4 weeks is 28 days, so you need 2 more days.
It will be to the 20th of December.
I know what you're doing, you're counting 1 week twice.
Yeah.
You're counting the end of December
Oh,
and.
See what I'm
okay,
saying?
fine.
Well, I was just trying to.
Well, we could do it on, we could post it for that Monday, the 20th. But that's depending on, once we get everything done.
I said, would it be good, since most of us have to be here, to do it on the 21st before the city council meeting?
I think we should wait until this legislation gets prepared before we keep sitting here splitting hairs on the day that we don't even
Right.
know what we make yet.
It'll be done.
We can beat this horse all night. We're never gonna know.
Right, we're not gonna know the
until
date.
He gets that legislation prepared. So why don't we let Brian get his job done and then we'll make that decision?
So,
That and we keep from confusing people in the audience.
all right. If there's nothing else for plating, I will adjourn plating at 6:26 PM.
You don't have to discuss the,
Hmm?
you don't have to discuss the zoning of the annexation, correct? You can do that post-annex.
All right, I'll call health and safety to order at 6:26 PM. Members present are James Me, Mark McKeever, and myself as chair. We also have the referral. Do we need to do anything additional, or just kind of let you run the show and we?
Me?
Go ahead. I've been talking long enough.
No, I guess I'm asking, is there anything additional this committee needs to do other than say we approve or disapprove?
As far as the annexation, is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? There was the question of the sanitary sewer line.
Mhm.
The pictures that you provided were provided by Mr. Hill. If you look at the picture, there's a yellow arrow heading west in front of Heartland. That's where the main line runs. Sorry. That's where the main line runs, picking up Heartland and heading west and then heading south straight to the plant. That's an 8-inch trunk. Mr. Hill said that there is an ordinance 923.14B that addresses caveats, if you'll have, for maintaining a septic or a privy in areas of town. He said that if we were to expect Mr. Gernert to hook into the sanitary system, it would be very expensive to run an 8-inch line just to his house. He could run a lateral with an easement across his neighbor's property over to that 8-inch. But then my question is, there's an EPA standing, which I came across when we were commissioners, when we did the Westmore project over in Galleon. If you had a septic and you have a sewer line running in front of your house, you have to abandon the septic and hook in. So, if we're going to make Mr. Gernert hook into our sewer system and we run a lateral across his neighbor's yard, are we going to then force his neighbor into the sewer system as well? So, this ordinance, 923.14B, we need to look it up and see, because he said there's like 10 homes within our city limits that still have septic systems. Mr. McKeever, you were saying the other day you know of 2 that are below grade.
That's on Nevada Road.
This, according to Mr. Hill, this ordinance allows for people to keep, in this instance, their septic with a permit.
Who
I have
issues
not
the
had a
permit?
chance to look at this ordinance. What?
Who issues the permit?
Service director.
Okay. So this will also be something that can be discussed at the public hearing.
Correct.
Where we get the input of the public. So I'm content, I'll ask the 2 of you the same, but I'm content to allow this to move on and move forward and continue in its progress. And in the meantime, we as well as the public can then do their research, and then we can ask questions and talk more at the public hearings is how I feel. Agree, disagree?
I agree.
Mr. Stone, if you would, please.
Thank you. Chuck Stone, 1503 Linwood Drive. You say that there's 8 people that would be affected by that, maybe be affected by that time?
No.
Mr. Hill said that there's like 10 people within our city limits that have septic systems.
There,
Right, I understand it, but I guess what I was getting at is, you said, I'm thinking that you said that you're gonna cross somebody's line and there was like 7 or 8 more people.
8-inch line.
An 8-inch line.
on this on this plat here, there's
Here, Chuck.
Mr. Gerner's house, and then there's a property just to the west of him.
That's Jim
So it's only gonna affect one of the persons.
Jim Ranker's house.
I thought he was over here.
This is his
Yeah,
house.
Jim's over here.
Jim's over there.
Aren't you running it over to here?
It's an 8-inch
No.
trunk line.
Be coming across here to catch
So
into
we'd
it.
be forcing him to run a
Oh,
lateral
there.
across his neighbor's property with an easement to hook into that.
Either way, you're going under a road with an 8-inch sewer line. That's
That's right.
Well, it wouldn't be an 8-inch,
It wouldn't be an 8-inch, it
It'd
would
be a tie-in.
His lateral we run, it would probably only be a,
4-inch.
Still, you're bored under a road.
yeah.
That's covering it up.
But that's,
What, I guess what I was getting at is that if it's gonna affect other people, that make sure that we contact those people.
Pursuant to the statute, I had to give notification to those people.
Is it?
Yep, yep. All right, I'm content with moving it forward and allowing for the public hearing phase to be the question and answer session. So I don't think we need any action out of this committee other than an agreement at this point.
In the meantime, the other house here, maybe they want to annex them too.
Huh?
Something Mr. Gerner could look at.
I can speak to them, sure.
Okay, yeah. Might as well, if that's something they're interested in, to tie it into one fell swoop.
Catch as much as we can.
Yeah. All right. Is there any other public participation for health and safety this evening? Hearing none. Anything else from either of you two gentlemen?
no, sir.
All right. I'll adjourn health and safety at 6:32 PM.
Who's next?
Aaron, it's her turn now.
Do we have anything?
We have that legislation that we have to get back.
We already did that the last time, that's what we just committed to. Or we
Eric,
requested
your
that we
microphone,
take
please.
that. Huh?
Your microphone's on.
Oh, I know.
I don't know, do we have to call it together, that legislation that got screwed up?
1411 North Sandusky Avenue was previously in committee referred back to have legislation prepared to repeal and replace said legislation with the correct legislation. And it's in my office.
Hasn't been done yet. We're not ready yet.
It's, yeah, I don't know. I think it's done. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. But we'll get it at the next meeting to approve. So it's done, so I guess we don't need a committee meeting to do that.
That's why I thought, that's why they.
Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome, but it's
That
done.
just while we're here, just
Right.
Yeah,
trying to make sure, try to get it done.
I think in the rush to get everything else figured out for Tuesday's meeting, it got dropped by my office probably, but it's done. And we'll get it approved retroactive to the date that we first inappropriately approved it, which was September something, or something like that. October something maybe, which can happen.
Okay.
So do we have any other meetings that need to happen? No ad hoc, no service? Economic development? No? And then I think we're probably done for the evening.
For the public lands, are you done with that one?
Did you have something for public land?
Well, I don't know if it is or not, I figure since we're talking land, yeah.
So do you want me to call the order then?
That's up to you.
Okay. Then we are going to call public lands to order at 6:35 PM.
Yeah.
Members present. Mark McKeever, Doug Boat, and myself, Chair. Bruce Truk is absent this evening. Any public participation?
Chuck Stone, 1503 Linwood Drive. I've been checking into this Habitat for Humanity thing coming to Bucyrus. Doesn't sound good. and I hate to see Bucyrus keep tearing houses down. I talked to people in Marion, I used to work with them through the school, and they have Lima, they're going Kenton and Wyandotte County, which would be hard to get, in Marion County. They said Crawford County is not in their jurisdiction. We're in Richland County. So I called Richland County and they got back with me, and the lady said that she's a one-man show, and so she's got to find a contractor. They've got a place over in Mansfield, well, she said Richland County, and they've got to find a contractor that can do it, and then he's got to put together everything. And so she said it's going to be at least a year before they consider a house in Crawford County. And I just been kind of stifled with, kind of befuddled, I guess would be the word, that we're losing houses. As far as the city goes, every time we tear a house down, there goes a chance for getting some money coming into the city. If GE keeps pulling stuff out, there goes more money, because they lay out jobs and people can't afford their houses, and then they go.
I was letting her know I wanted to answer one of your questions.
And so, I didn't know, I'd like to see Bucyrus grow, and we're going in the wrong direction. I see things never stay the same. Going out Mansfield Street, I see where we tore a house down, and now there's a pole barn. And Kurt was in here talking about pole barns the other day, or a couple weeks ago. I don't know if that's going to be one of those houses inside the pole barn or not. Looks a little strange, and that's okay. But an awful lot of empty lots. And it kind of disheartened me, because young people have a tough time finding a place to live as it is. We keep tearing them down. And if we don't tear them down, then the slumlords take them over. And I think we need some way to kind of manage those people, because if they're not fixing the electrical up to code, that kind of stuff, we need to figure out something. And I don't know if this is part of the plan, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
What was your question, or what your answer?
Couple things to clarify for you, Chuck. First of all, the house on Mansfield Street burnt down, so that's why it was raised. A majority of the houses that have been torn down have been through the county land bank.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure you understand the difference, because the ones that the city has torn down have been ones that were declared, I'm searching for the word.
Uninhabitable.
Unfit,
Yeah,
uninhabitable?
they were declared, yeah, condemned, that's where I look for, they were condemned, so, but I can tell you, you're welcome to come to a county land bank meeting. It's the third Wednesday of every month up at the Commissioner's office, and I'll make sure I get with you and get you the next date at 3 p.m. And you can share your concerns there. One of the things that, and I sit on the board of the land bank, one of the things that we've done is a couple of the houses we have given them to people to renovate, and there's another one that we're looking at doing that right now. So, the goal isn't just to tear everything down. The goal of the land bank really is to better the neighborhoods. And some of the houses that came down absolutely had to. Did all of them? I'll let you make that decision yourself. But I just want to make sure you knew that it wasn't city or the council.
Oh, no,
that done the
I
majority of that.
understand, yeah.
It's the county land bank. But again, you're welcome. Those meetings are open to the public, and you're welcome to come and share your opinions there.
Didn't know that you had them. What time are those, Joe?
3 o'clock.
Oh,
He said third Wednesday at 3 at the Commissioner's office. Mr. Foat?
I agree with a lot of what Chuck said there, and I think that it's a multitude of things, because you brought up a lot of different points. We've looked at, over the almost 4 years I've been here, we've talked about property maintenance, vacant building, abandoned building, I don't know, whatever terminology you can put to it, to try and enforce some more things with properties, especially when it comes to properties that are used for investments and things of that nature. And not just those properties, others as well, the ones that are just personal residences. Every time we bring those issues up, there's always a pushback that then it gets dies right there and it never gets talked about again. And it's an ongoing issue, and you're absolutely correct. And there's a lot of people in this community that live in housing in places that you wouldn't let your dog live in, but they don't have any other option because who are they going to complain to? You know, complaining is going to do them no good other than getting them evicted, and they can't afford to be evicted, even though they're living in a bad situation. As far as the housing stock and tearing down houses, I completely agree with you there too, because every house that we lose, that's another portion of the, let's be honest, our utilities are figured off of how many people live here. So if you only got 100 people paying in, it's gonna cost those 100 more than if you had 1,000 people paying in. Every house we lose is another family we lose, it's a tax base we lose, it's people paying into the utilities, everything. It's a round-around effect. I would like to see, and I think it's something that we need to consider going forward because things are changing, times are changing, zoning has caused changing. Look at possibly changing our zoning and as far as our requirements for building homes in the community. You get into some of these smaller inner city neighborhoods, Woodlawn Avenue, Rensselaer Street, places like that, you tear a house down because it's condemned or fire loss or whatever, you can't build another house back there again because zoning won't allow for it because you don't have enough for setbacks and yardages and frontage and all these other different things. So I would like to see maybe us allowing not necessarily manufactured homes to go back into these neighborhoods, but possibly like tinier homes, smaller homes. It's a thing that's becoming a bigger thing. People are liking it because they're more efficient. Younger people like them because they're smaller, they're not as much to take care of, and you have your own home. So that would be a way I think that we could possibly get some houses back on these lots that are not technically buildable right now for the style home that's built beside it. It may make the neighborhood look a little bit different for a while, but as time goes on, we'll get used to it. It'll be okay. We'll find ways to make it look better. But I think we need to look at avenues like that as well, because these are problems that we're going to have and they're going to keep continuing to happen if we don't get things in place like vacant and abandoned building ordinances, property maintenance issues, things like that, because you're just going to keep this ongoing of houses getting dilapidated, getting torn down. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, oh, well, you just buy it and clean it up and rent it out. No, that's not how that should work. You should put some effort into it and make, I mean, you shouldn't, it should look like a home again. It should be put back to looking like a home and it should be maintained as such. But I'll leave it at that.
Okay, does anybody else have any discussion for that?
Probably a little long-winded, but.
All right then. And we talked about the 1411 had already been requested for legislation, and we will hopefully have that at the next meeting. And other than that, do we have any other business for public land? All right, then I will adjourn public lands at 6:43 p.m.